Let's tap into your own authentic genius and live the life you desire.
You are now listening to
Join Dr. Rademaker for an enlightened conversation about our brain intelligence, our body intelligence, and our energy intelligence. And now, here's your host, Dr. Bart Rademaker.
I'm Dr. Bart Rademaker, and this is Prescription for Your Transformation. Real people, real conversations, and real success. And it's really all about tapping into that authentic genius that's actually within all of us. But unfortunately, too many of us don't realize that. And so how many of you have thought of this question? Is it too late? Am I too late? You know, I'm halfway through my life, and, you start looking around and wondering, what's really happened? Where did all that time go? And then start reflecting on things that you didn't do. And now you're coming to this place of doubt. You're doubting yourself. You've lost the confidence. You've lost the self-esteem. And you're wondering, what am I going to do next? And I think this is even more evident in the women across the world. Yeah, the guys are always called out with their midlife crisis, and then they get the Harley or whatever that is. But it's the forgotten woman that we really need to talk about. Because a sad thing in my heart when I hear that the woman is invisible and it's all of our fault. And so I'm super excited to be talking today to Heidi. I've watched her on Facebook, seen that energy, and I love the way that she encourages women to really step up and take hold of their lives in a way that they never thought possible, getting a new lease on life, and really, as she likes to put it, whoever dares wins. Heidi, thank you so much for joining me today. Seeing that energy,
so much for having
and
me.
I
I'm so
love the
happy to be
way
here.
that it's amazing. Just encourages women to really step up, energy that you hold of their lives in a way that they never thought possible, with getting a new lease on life. How did you get? And really, as she likes to put it, whoever dares dive into. Heidi, thank you so much for joining me today. Seeing that energy, and I love the way that it's amazing. Just encourages women to really step up, energy potential, which, by the way, is for all of us, not just women, but in particular, in your case, how you help women become their absolute radiant, magnificent self.
Well, I'm English, from a large family in the southwest of England. Grew up slightly feeling a little bit, sort of a bit of a square peg in a round hole, meaning that I was always feeling as though I was sort of playing down a little bit myself, always wanting, my parents, without realizing it, were sort of saying, just be normal, just be like your brothers and sisters, but never quite felt the same. And well, nothing unhappy about my childhood. Fantastic family, grew up, had a bit of a wanderlust of travel, actually, to be honest. And what started off as 6 months in the south of France, did a round the world trip with my backpack for a year on my own. And then, so sort of got the freedom to find myself, but after saying that, my 3 sisters and brother are about a mile away from my parents, the family nest. So again, it was obvious I was sort of the black sheep, or the one who wasn't going to toe the line. And I felt like that ever since. And I've always felt that I was always fearful that I wouldn't reach my potential, and always was wanting to try new things. So everything was fine. Went to fashion college, went to beauty college, did my traveling. Then I went to the south of France when I was 19, and worked in Monaco, thinking, you know what, I want a summer away. It's going to be fun, just because my parents were at their wits' end, oh, here we go again. Off I went, took a bus, took a train, lost my money, arrived and sort of hustled my way into a job in Monaco, and lied that my father had a handful of restaurants, and I never, and lived in London and worked at the Ritz for a while. I mean, I'd never even been to London at that point. Anyway, so I ended up working in Monaco, met my then boyfriend, who, fast forward 10 years, became my husband. And so there was a lot in between when I was traveling and like I said, around the world, becoming a personal trainer. I worked for the FIA in Australia, fashion industry of Australia. So I was really just going big or going home and dreaming big. And this is very, very important, you know. So I never wanted to play safe. And curiosity was my driver. You know, I always knew that I was always looking for inspiration and just, again, adventure. And again, that's sometimes what we lose. You know, we stop playing because we grow old, or do we grow old because we stop playing? And I really believe in that. So getting married, moved out to California with my French husband who was working out there, had my 2 beautiful daughters. Motherhood fit me like a glove. In fact, nothing has surpassed being a mom. And my 2 daughters are my inspiration, and they are 23 and 21. But after, so I was living in America. We came back to Europe thinking, you know, the children were now 6 and 4. And I must say there were a few cracks in the marriage in LA because, you know, I came from a very different tree and different grapevine to my husband, who was just very different. But there was a common thread. We were happy-ish. And anyway, so we came back to Europe and thinking that, you know, we need to raise the children in Europe, near their family, near their cousins, and that was pretty standard. There was nothing, not that either of us really wanted to come back, to be honest. I was really at home in LA. And so we came back, and it was difficult, really difficult. My husband, the ex-husband now, but then as husband, had sort of gone out to America, you know, from a very simple upbringing, and had the American dream. He'd hit the jackpot, and he'd worked with David Murdoch, and he had, you know, risen, and he was with all the movers and the shakers, you know, and came back, you know, to his hometown. So of course, the person that he'd created in America, he'd come back and had to be back to his slippers on again and be the person that he'd run away from. And I wasn't very happy in France. I mean, I didn't speak the language. I had my 2 little chicks under my arms, like mother hen, you know, and thinking, what the heck? I'm landed on the moon. I was living in Malibu, for goodness sake. And suddenly I'm in a place called Menton, which, you know, is on the Côte d'Azur, the French Riviera, which is fabulous. But, you know, there was no mummy and me. I didn't have a friend. And there was no jungle gym. And people were just a little bit prickly and not very nice. And I was much too happy and smiley, and my colors that I wore were too bright. So everybody just thought I was an alien. So there I was. So we sort of climbed and over hurdles and found our way. But after about 3 years, the children went to school. 3 years, I just had to say, you know, I'm not happy. And I did write a few letters, you know, make a few calls to him, you know, sung and danced, you know, put on my sexy underwear, didn't put on my sexy underwear, wrote him, did everything to get his attention. But of course, he was battling his own demons because of where. In the end, I said, right, you know what? I can either wait. The girls were 10 and 8. I could wait 10 years for my happy if I wanted to. Well, you know what? The book says perhaps I should. Because you know what? The girls were the most important. But then I thought, you know, girls need to know. Well, we all, girls and boys, but I was particularly concerned that we all have choice. And you don't have to give up happy. There's no sacrifice in life. You're in charge of it. You can't blame anyone else. And if you hand it over to someone else, destiny is sadness. You know, so what I was wanting for them, and they would have hated if I had stayed and if I had waited. And of course, being stuck in my BS, my belief systems was stay with your man. I come from mum and dad, 62 years together, sisters and brothers, 5, everyone's married. So it was really difficult, but I did it. But the actual leaving was horrific. And I tell this story only because, you know, if I can, you can. And I'm not telling women to leave their husbands. I'm just saying, know if you're happy or not. And if you need to make change, but realize what you're in charge of and what you can control. and you can only control yourself, nobody else. So after one very scary night when my husband lost his marbles and freaked out, and it was very frightening for me, and I won't go into it any more than that, but it was traumatic, and it's locked behind a door in my brain and in my heart with 15 keys and a padlock. I realized that he wasn't going to let me go because he did not want me to get a divorce. So I realized that, and I knew he wouldn't let me go, and I certainly wouldn't be able to take the girls with me. So one day after this horrific night, when I told him I wanted a divorce in the January, and this must have been about very soon after, February, and we were living in the house with this sort of fog lingering and this sort of elephant in the room trying to pretend. I called a friend of mine, and I said to him, because he had a truck, I said, bring the truck and bring some boxes. You know, when you get those wardrobes that you assemble and you hook, bring some boxes. I've got to leave because I'm not going to be able to get out of here with my clothes and myself and the girls. So he came one day, this guy, it was Thursday afternoon. And I said, move quickly, get the kids' clothes, get my clothes. I put pictures off the wall. I mean, the panic, the absolute panic. I can feel it in my throat as I'm telling this story. The panic was just horrific. And because he could come home at any time. And I was leaving him. I was going to be picking up the girls from school in about 45 minutes.
Right.
And they were never going to live with Dad again.
Right.
So we did that. I left with 6 boxes. I followed the truck in my little car down the hill to pick up the girls from school. And this was it. I was leaving, and I was going to change my life. And I wasn't going to be stuck. And I wasn't going to be invisible and not appreciated, because these are the words I felt, you know, and I wasn't going to wait for my happy.
Right.
And I wanted to know that whatever I was doing now was going to give me a better life. I was going to reach my potential. And obviously I wanted a better life for the girls. So I left, and it was horrific for about a month, and he was looking for me, and we finally there I was, no money, because I'd been raising the children.
Right.
Again, women,
Right.
women, independence, my friends.
Yeah.
Don't get stuck. You don't get stuck. I had happily looked after my daughters and wasn't working because I was in a country where I didn't speak the language. My husband was looking after us, and I was stuck. But again, I don't know whether it was irresponsible of me to have left, but I left. And I remember sleeping on my friend's floor. In fact, her children, my children knew each other from school. So it was a play date. Oh, kids, we're going to play date. Oh, yeah, Mommy, what are those boxes for? Oh, we're just doing a bit of packing. It's okay. So there I was sleeping on the floor, and there lies the beginning of my transformation.
Wow.
And that was 12 years ago. And I can tell you, I prayed at the bottom of my bed. I woke up in pools of sweat, fear, freedom, pain, passion, transformation, happy, sad, all in one day. I mean, it was a roller coaster. And I can tell you, you have to reach out for help. And I did. And the right angels appeared when they were supposed to. And I hustled. And my ex-husband, it took a couple of years for us to get divorced. He livid, wasn't helping at all financially. So I was really hustling. And I was on my own. And the beauty of that was the freedom. The beauty of that was this open canvas to paint my new picture, to create my second act, ladies, second act. Done the first. And believe me, there is a third. My parents are living the third act. It's a wonderful thing. But what I want you to know, ladies, is don't get stuck halfway.
And that's,
dream big.
Yeah, and that's the problem with so many people today.
You settle, you know?
They settled, and they settle based on their beliefs and their values that they've learned and accepted over time.
And that's just a thought. You can change that.
Yeah.
Right? You can
And
self-doubt. Not enough. Damn that. Not enough, ladies. Not enough what? Not pretty enough. Not happy enough. Not sexy enough. Not strong enough. Not funny enough. stop not enough. I could not enough myself for 10 years if I'd wanted to. But it's self-doubt and lack of confidence and just feeling that, why me? Why not you? Why not you? This is your life. There's no rewind. Create the second act. Create the life you love. Step up as the powerful woman you are meant to be. Step onto the stage and realize your potential. But sometimes you just don't know what that is. Well, what are you good at? Find out what you're good at first. And that's probably what you're passionate about. And you're probably quite good at it.
So let's talk about that for a moment. But before we continue, I just want to recognize you and your courage. And that courage is also within all of us. And it's perhaps one of the most important virtues that we can tap into. And so it's the courage to step forward into growth, the courage to step forward into freedom versus stepping backwards into your comfort and stagnation. And so I love the fact, and I think the challenge that so many people have today is that they settle, but not only because they don't know, but they don't have a model. They don't have somebody else who's gone through this and has survived. And that's what I love about the work that you're doing, is you're teaching others the specific tools that they can utilize, that you've developed, that you've acquired over time, but you just took this leap of faith and kind of figured it out on your own, whereas you're helping people figure it out in advance so that they can make that leap with a lot more confidence. And so I love the fact that you do that, and giving women, the insights and the reason to say, look, move forward, forget the regret, move forward. And so let's talk about your program. You just took this leap of faith and kind of figured it out on your own. Get Your Glow On, and that's the new program that you're coming out. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, my 3 buckets of expertise, I suppose, are my life coaching. I'm in health and fitness. I'm a personal trainer, and I've got a certification in nutrition coaching. And I'm a stylist, so image consultant and wardrobe planner and beautician and makeup artist. So I have this A to Z, top to toe reboot. And I work with people, some people have flown. I've got ladies who flew me. One day I flew to St. George in Utah for 4 days. The lady wanted a reboot, so I went there. We started with her. We started with life coaching, how she feels about herself and what her goals are. And that was a starting point. And then we went into her kitchen and we emptied her fridge. We restocked it with good food, and personal training. We did fitness program, then went to her wardrobe. Then we went out and did hair color, cut, everything. And that is a total reboot. But not everybody can have Heidi for 4 days because I'm expensive. It took me 50 years to get this fabulous. It's all about knowing which screw to turn. It's all very well bringing the guy and he costs 10,000, but you're only here for 5 minutes. Well, it took me, that old saying. So I'm sort of saying, get your glow on. It's getting the Heidi magic, but just a sprinkle of happiness or a sprinkle of Heidiness, So Get Your Glow On is really an online program that is the 4 seasons of the year. So I just gently take you through the 4 seasons. I do my live videos, which I love to do, and Heidi on the ground running. So Heidi at large, I will go and I'll get the best. I'll go down to, a Zara, a simple boutique, which is accessible for everyone. I'll find you the best 5 pairs of white pants, different body types. Or I'll go and get the best bras, for the right boobs and how, come on ladies, it's time to get a new bra. Or I'll just get the new coral lipstick for the summer, or summer skin. Or I'll just, go and find a chef who teaches how to make a souffle. And I go live twice a week with these videos. But as a member, so there's a membership, you sign up, there's a link, you sign up. It's $57 a month. And you get these 2 live videos, you get the best products, everything's linked underneath. So you get this aspiration, because I'm myself in these beautiful places in the world. I live in the south of France, so I'm in Cannes, I'm in Monaco, I'm in Saint-Tropez, daughter in London, so I get to go there. Got a daughter in San Francisco, so I get to go to California. So I take you with me. And I inspire you, and also it's a little bit of me time. because we kind of forget ourselves. We sort of slip down the to-do list. So you want to sort of find yourself a little bit of me time. And this excuse, which is the Heidi video that goes in the private membership Facebook group, you click on it and it's take your cup of coffee, find the corner, watch it. You know, let's exfoliate our skin. Let's get our sexy skin, ladies, for the summer. You know, let's, you know, find that bikini for our body shape. You know, summer's around the corner. We've been inside. We're still inside. We're in lockdown. You get a bit schleppy. You get a bit heavy because you haven't been moving and you've been eating that comfort food. We all know what we've done. And you come out, you feel a bit hairy. Your nails are a little bit bitten because you're kind of stressed. And I'm saying, ladies, forget that. Get your glow on. And you know what? You come with me on this ride. 2 videos a week, and we go on Zoom every other week. So I do some laser coaching. The day before the Zoom, you tell me if there's a little issue, a little challenge, you know, you want me to help you with. I put my coaching hat on, and I help you with that online because all the other women are probably feeling the same way. So this is a way for us to share and the camaraderie and the community. Plus you get good insight with my 2 videos. And as summer goes into autumn, I've got all that exfoliation. I go up to Switzerland. I've got the doctor to get our skin looking good. And we've got, you know, the autumn fruits and vegetables that are healthy for you and great menus, the little tidbits, the breakfast that I eat, you know, what my workout is in winter compared to summer. Oh, love, it's fantastic. So it's, like I say, it's 2 videos a week. They're live. You can even tell me what you want me to talk about. And then it's the Zoom call. We create a community, but I'm giving you good, valuable, informative stuff to get your glow on.
I love it. I love it. And the thing is that what I particularly like about this is that it's accessible and it's affordable. You know, too often people are thinking that it's impossible to acquire these things. It's impossible to, you know, find that sexy in just cooking, for example, because it's too complicated. And that's what, you know, paralyzes so many people. You know,
I've got expensive ones. I've got bigger, better, stronger. But you know what? Right now, in this climate, I want to help people feel good and be the best version of themselves, even if it's just a sprinkle. But you know what? Jump on board. It's not over.
So tell me a little bit about that. You know, tell me, you know, what are the challenges that you see that women are going through? I mean, you said some really key things here. You know, it's the belief systems, it's feeling invisible, it's feeling that you're not worthy. You know, give us the backdrop, especially for us guys, you know, that don't understand it, number one, but also more importantly for the women to have them know that they're not alone and that there is freedom, you know, on the other side of the sphere.
Yeah. You just seem to lose your identity. I know that was a big one for me. As much as I loved motherhood, you just sort of, you think to yourself, who am I without my children? Who am I without that bag that I carry? Who am I? What is my purpose? You know, it's like, I'm here for a reason and I could just wing it, but I'm not really very happy. That's a big pill to swallow. And realizing that, and just also it's self-doubt and losing your woman, losing your sexy, losing your female. You know what? Don't you remember? You were probably quite good at roller skating back in the day. Get back on the skates, lady. Come on. The way to age beautifully, successfully, is to find your passion. Because you know what? You radiate when you're living that passion. When you're cooking and making those cakes, you look very sexy because you're radiating that inner mojo that you kind of lose. So I'm your mojo motivator. I mean, I'm going to get you back in the game of life. Take the steering wheel, ladies. Direction happy. Take the map and the snacks and take control of your life. Because we feel invisible, we're riddled with self-doubt and lack of self-confidence. We lose our sexy. We can't figure out why we're here. Our identity is taken over, or the lack of it has taken over. And, you know, if we've had children and they fly, who am I if I'm not a mother? I need to be needed. Nobody needs me. That's scary. That's scary. And you have to look at your husband and say, do I want to reinvent this? Because it needs reinventing, always. Revamp, reinvent, refresh. And if you don't, what does the other side look like? If you don't want to reinvent it, have the courage to say so. But then you got to know, you got to go and date. You've got to shave your legs. Scary stuff. It's a lot of losing the female, and that's the thing. Yeah.
One of the things that, and I want to get your take on this, because clearly you've got a handle on it, but there's two parts to the question. So the first part is, how society perhaps has been very critical of women's role, kind of downplayed their power, their strength, their magnificence, if you will. You said to me earlier, or you said earlier on, that growing up, you were told that you're too boisterous and you needed to downplay things. And then the other part is, what I see very often, unfortunately, is that when you have a powerful woman, intelligent, capable, and everything else, and they tap in way too much of that masculine energy so that they can overcome the other masculine energy. And that, in my opinion, is actually disempowering, because, when a woman can tap into her feminine energy, that's where her true power is.
That's where her power is, Bart. You've got it. You are so right. You know what? We are fully loaded in the middle of our life. We could not be in better shape. We've had experience. Some of us have had, motherhood, but without it, we are fully loaded. And if you step into your female, you know what? That's the weapon of mass destruction. The boys will fall at your feet, because we rule the world, ladies. You know what? Once you step into your female, it's your power tool, you guys. And very often, it's not that we don't want to, it's just we don't know how to. And that's just the unlocking of a few doors that potentially have just closed, not intentionally, but just through life. And perhaps it was meant to be that way. There are times when you can step up. There are times when, you're on your back foot for the right reasons. But if you get at that crossroads in the middle and you don't know which way to turn, and that void is scary, that second act is beckoning you on stage, but you're a little bit frightened, I'll help you.
So how do you help people get into their feminine? I mean, what are some of the specific doors that you help women open up so that, they can get into that real feminine radiance that's within them, and not be fearful that, people will just dislike them or reject them. And some of the other women are the ones that are the harshest critics, right?
Yeah, we can't worry about everybody else. That's their problem. I just say, what are your passions? That's it. Because whatever they come up with, they are going to radiate their best self. Maybe it's baking, maybe it's volunteering, maybe it's cooking, maybe it's winemaking, maybe it's dancing, maybe it's, I don't know, public speaking. But just tell me what you're passionate about. And if you don't know, let's just unpack that, because you did once know what you loved, and you did once have a hobby, or you did once feel you were quite good at something. That female takes her wings and soars when she feels passionate about something, someone also. But sometimes it's falling in love with yourself. Love yourself, then everybody's going to love you, ladies. But you've just got to, it's totally about finding your passion. And that usually is what you're good at. And then share it with the world. There lies your purpose.
Talking about passion, what's interesting too, by the way, is that so many people are lost, and they say that they can't find the purpose, they can't find their passion. And the truth is, it's the passion and the purpose that you actually create within yourself. And in my opinion, the way to look at that is, what excites you, what fills you up, where would you like to spend your time so that you could do that? And there is no judgment on that. Whatever that is for you, But the key part is that you get to own it. It's not dependent on anybody else. It's not as a result of anybody else, but you get to own it and have the freedom and to be able just to exploit that and then go for it. Yeah, because that's when you get connected. I think you're right. I mean, that's when you get connected with your inner soul. And
Yes.
and it's okay, you know, give yourself permission, as I put it, give yourself permission to be human. Give yourself permission to be the woman that you think you are, right?
You might have left her behind, or she slipped down the to-do list. But once you reconnect with her and go to your happy place to find her, whatever that is, you know, that might be the back garden, that might be the city, that might be the beach. But often going into the environment that makes you happy, identify that, is so much easier to connect with yourself and what you love and what sort of lights your fire and what excites you and what sort of fuels you. And you'll be surprised, because people often are a little bit scared, or they've just forgotten how to connect with that that quiet space, that sort of inner voice. She knows that inner voice will tell you.
Right. You know, society then also defines, you know, basically what your safety net is. And the truth is that the only safety net that we really have is the one that we create for ourselves. And I think that's a big challenge for so many women and men too, by the way, in different situations, where if you feel that you're going to get out of this comfort zone, if you're going to get out of the safety net, that either the world is going to reject you, that you're not going to be loved, and you're not going to be worthy. And the truth is as I coach people as well, is that, you know, you have to differentiate between what's your work to do and what somebody else's work to do. And if they want to reject you, then that's okay. But if you're going to follow,
have you ever faced that yourself?
yeah. But if you're gonna feel obligated to the rules of someone else, then you're always going to be in prison of that, and you'll never find your true self. And like you said earlier on, is, you know, I wanted to find and become the best version of myself. And I think that's within all of us. And in particular, women should get out of that, you know, prison that society or oneself imposes on them, and be that. And you know what? Truthfully, there will be a lot of people that won't like you. But the truth is that when you become that radiant self, the right people will come your way.
Yes, Bart, that is so true. It's so true. But it's so, you have to have so much courage, you know, feel the fear and do it anyway, because your life is now. You know, it's hard to step up or step out or, you know, change. You know, change is it's scary, you know. Transition is scary, and we're all transitioning somewhere at all times, you know. My children into young adults, you know, people into old age, and we have responsibility and we have commitment, and we all wear many hats, you know, as a mother, a daughter, a friend, you know, a lover. But you just have to find, you have to not look outwards, you know. You can only control yourself, and you are responsible for that happiness, because it took me a while to figure that out. When things weren't going my way, I blamed everyone else. That was my immature, you know, little girl. And it was a slow train coming. It took me a while, you know, and here I am, midlife, and just, I'm on the ground running. I wouldn't want anyone to think I'm living in a big house looking down at these poor ladies. I am the swan paddling like mad underwater. I have lived it. I've got true, authentic, I know all about how to do it. And this is this privilege. I feel privileged that this platform is available to me. And I just need to get out there and inspire and motivate and kick the ass of those women who just need a push.
Yep.
It's fear, always fear drives everything.
And that's the fear. I mean, fear actually masquerades lack of clarity, lack of understanding. And so when you have that clarity, when you have the tools, then you can actually very easily move through fear. And so what I like about what you're doing is that not only are you walking your talk, but you've gone through that process. You've been there. You are an authority to be able to tell other women, that they can do this too. But even better, what I love about what you're doing is you're giving the women the actual tools so that they don't have to figure it out for themselves, because you've done the hard work already. And so all they need to do is model you and do the things that you tell them to. So I like to spend a little time, we have about 20 minutes left, but I like to spend a little time on some of the specific tools that you help women so that they can break through that fear with specific strategies, so that that they can go home with after listening to us today.
Yes, it's the key is clarity. What do you want? That's the question. What do you want? Why have you not got it? What are you prepared to do to get it? What does it look like? How do you want to feel when you get there? What's the time element you're putting on it? Small goals. Buy the pair of running shoes, put them by the front door. Take small steps. I'm not kicking you out with the water. What's the expression? No, I'm just saying take small steps, but identify what it is you want. That is it. And it might be, we might unpeel the onion by saying, what are you good at? What are your strengths? What are your values? What are your beliefs? I'll get a nice rounded picture. But if that person is saying, I just want to be happy, well, what does happy look like? Or when were you happy last? And what was the environment that you were in that was making you happy then? So it's a lot of clarity, because it's usually quite foggy when someone comes to me, as it was for me. So I'm not telling you anything that I didn't go through. So it's identifying what you want. And then it's stepping stones, the roadmap. I usually whoop it, WOOP. What's the wish? What is the outcome? What is the obstacle? And what is the plan? ABCs.
I love it. Yeah, and again, I think what happens too often is just as you said, what prevents. And usually what prevents is that people are really stuck on the how. I can't tell you how often in my coaching, people are says, well, how do you do this? I said, well, forget about how you do it.
Why?
Right. It's the why. Why do you want this? Why is this important? And have the wherewithal to just decide, yeah, I want this, and then define why do you want this, and not being imprisoned by everybody else's objections or rules or norms or morals. What is it that you want, and why do you want this? And you and I have learned this too through Tony Robbins. That's what he focuses on all the time is, it's why comes first, right?
Yes. The how will take care of itself.
How will take care of itself. But here's the other part is you just have to try, and you just have to experiment, and some things are going to work out and some things aren't. So maybe just putting the shoes by the front door isn't going to work, but maybe just by the side of your bed, that's going to work. So whatever works is what works, right?
Yeah, and you might just run to the lamppost, that lamppost you can see, and then that might be it. But the next day you might run to the next one. Build slowly, don't set yourself up for failure. You're not going to run a marathon. You're going to say, I am going to run 1 kilometer by 3 weeks. On that Saturday, the 15th, I'm going to have run a kilometer. So it has to be, manageable. It has to have some sort of quantitative state. It has to be attainable. You've got to make it so you're pretty much set up for success. And then put a time element on it. Set small goals. I don't want to learn a language by September. Well, okay. You might do whatever you think, whatever rocks your boat, but make it, set yourself up, but try. And you know what? That the confidence to try will make you more competent, which will make you more confident because you get the results, It's just like a beautiful thing,
Success leads to more success. And I think there's 2 elements that people tend to forget. Number one is that we all overestimate what we can do in a year and underestimate what we can do in 10 years. And so people are focusing on this big goal that they just simply can't achieve. And that's why I like your point, which is very well taken. Just small steps, small goals. But here's the other part I think is really important. I'm sure that it's what you include in your coaching, is rather than staying fixated on the ultimate goal, how is it that you get to feel when you just run towards that lamppost? How is it that you're feeling, as you're running that first kilometer, versus getting fixated on, okay, I have to lose 20 pounds and I'm going to be happy when I lost that 20 pounds. No, I'm happily losing those pounds and it feels good now, right?
Yeah, that inner chat, that inner critic can really annihilate you. So it's that self-talk. You've got to keep an eye on that too. That's really powerful stuff. No, it's true.
How do you manage your inner critic? What do you do?
She's annoys me all the time. You know what? She was annoying me this morning, FYI. And I was having this thought of this conversation I'd had yesterday, and it was just I was trying to read something and I kept reading the page over and over again. I was getting so annoyed. I'm like, what is choice? All you have to do is say, right, okay, I'm going to choose a different thought. Ladies, it's choice. You know what? You're thinking that, choose another thought. It's just choice. So, choose something better, or just go and wash your hands, or, just go and make a cup of tea, but just choose something else.
Yeah.
Because it's just a thought.
Change your thoughts, change your life, right?
Change your thoughts, change your life.
It really comes down to, what I call first principles, basic principles. We make things too complicated. We make our identity too complicated to achieve. When you just start focusing on the basic stuff, and it really comes down to what you said, what is it that you really want? Focusing on that, and then giving yourself permission just to be human. I mean, like I put it in my coaching programs, is that the only victim that we are is we're a victim of the misconceptions that we've gathered throughout our entire lives, which really started when we were young. Those imprints that were placed upon us by others, or unintentionally, just misguiding ourselves, that don't serve us today. And so, it's not our fault that we got those. Our immature brain didn't know how to process them.
Yeah.
But now, like you said, this is the second act. Everything that you've learned to this moment is going to help you, formulate the next moment. So if you don't like your life now, make new decisions for tomorrow.
Exactly. Yes. Control what's controllable,
Right.
Your time is now. Oh my gosh, I can't tell you how passionate I am about this, because it's so true. And I just feel that now I'm equipped with the skills to help others. Then you know what? I mean, I've got a company in London who say that they want me to do some public speaking, which, scares the living daylights out of me. Feel the fear and do it anyway. I'm way out of my comfort zone, which is another thing we ladies tend not to do. That's where the magic happens, ladies.
Mm-hmm.
That's when you evolve. That's when you actually find it's not about courage. Courage isn't the driver. It's literally feeling the fear and doing it anyway, because I'm going to be really frightened when I get on that stage. But I need to get to a bigger audience.
Right.
And I just think that playing small doesn't work.
Mm-hmm.
Curiosity, you need to never stop learning as well. That's always a good tip that I give to ladies, keep learning, be curious, have that that little trigger to play. That's sexy. Be playful,
Yeah. And it's okay to make mistakes. It's totally okay to totally mess up. And that's where we learn. And it's interesting, because with companies, they wanting to make this perfect product, usually create this perfect product, but it's old by the time they get it. And so we learn by making our mistakes. It's no different than a child learning to walk and falling down so many times over. If a child decided, if an infant decided, look, I failed once, I'm not going to walk again, then we would never be walking.
He's not a walker, yeah.
And so it's okay to fail, and it's part of our learning process. I mean, it's actually essential in our learning process. And so, yeah, I mean, I think who's it? Oprah, who said it. There's no failure except when you fail to try. And so we have to go out there. And it's okay to be your feminine, radiant goddess, and in all the shapes and forms, and looking and watching and learning from other women like yourself, tapping into that. You don't have to be into that masculine energy, because actually that's not that appealing.
No. And that, you know, alpha male, you know, that opposite, that so yin yang in the world is a beautiful thing. And it's not weak, it's quite the opposite. It's strong. You know, that
Right.
vulnerability is the best bit of you.
Right.
So show your colors, show your scars, you know, be authentic, but just decide what you want, you know, and step up and have the courage to try. She who dares wins.
Yep.
If not now, when?
So any final tips about eating and exercising, makeup? You know, I might need a little makeup here.
You might need a haircut, but
Yeah, actually I do. It's quite long.
I have to be honest. Well, I just always stress a majority plant-based diet, clean food, eat food that's at its most natural form. I exercise 3 or 4 times a week. For we women at this point in our lives, it needs to be strength-based, because our metabolism just gradually, naturally goes down. So we ended up eating a lettuce leaf and still going up a dress size every year. So if you don't want to do that, I teach a lot of cross-training, which is aerobic and strength-bearing together. So I create little pods, you know, this is for your arms, this is for your butt, this is, you know, I create these little stations and we just keep moving. So it's strength, but it's all aerobic at the same time. So I would stress that would be good. Yoga's great, swimming's great, but you've got to build some muscle, because you've got to keep that metabolism up. Because also for strength, for posture, to prevent injury around a joint, you know, you need to be sort of have balance, keeping that lower back strong, which means keeping your tummy strong. And no, you don't have to have a perfect body. I'm just saying have a balanced, strong body and add some muscle, and don't worry about it being muscly. You just want to add some weight-bearing exercises. So as far as health and fitness, it's there. And as far as sort of beauty and style, always have a slight glow to your skin. Don't go for the matte look, which is not attractive as we get older. As well as the matte lipstick, go for a gloss lipstick. Nice sparkles in your ears, nice sparkly earrings, sort of dance with your lip gloss, which is quite nice. Keep it simple. Clothes, keep them simple. Go for your body type, but you know, there are no rules. I don't like to think that, you know, you're this age, so you can't wear that, you should wear that. No. Right. You know, what do you feel good in? What makes you feel good? What makes you radiate and feel confident? Rock it. Rock what you've got. So those are just a couple of little things, but there's plenty more in Get Your Glow On.
I love it. So I know that you're going through your own transition as far as your platform. And so I know you're building this
rebranding,
rebranding this new awesome website and everything else. But in the meantime, before all this magnificence comes out, you know, how do people actually get a hold of you? What's the best way for them to engage with you? I know you've got some programs out there. So for the listener out there, how do they get to connect with you?
Well, the best place is Facebook or Instagram. So Facebook is Heidi, Heidi, and my last name is Fossali, Fossali. So go and find me on Facebook. You'll see all sorts of things. And a lot of it is public. So you don't even have to be on Facebook to find me. So go on, find me on Facebook. Even if you're not on Facebook, you'll be able to find my stuff. I make it public because then I can get to more people. And then Instagram, again, is my name with a dot in the middle, Heidi.Fossali. Send me a message, PM me, and I'm right here for you guys. You know, get your glow on, jump on board with me, and let's go. Start small. We can meet in the middle. We'll meet on Zoom. We'll get to know each other. And let's take it from there. But no sitting on your back foot, ladies. It's time to make the move. Small steps, though.
Small steps, yes. And each step successfully accomplished is the genesis of the next success. And each step, you know, failed is the seed for the success in the future too. So understand that this is a process. Understand too that it's going to take time. Understand that sometimes it's going to be difficult, but just the idea that it can work if you put your attention to it, like you've done and shown,
Yeah.
is going to make a big difference.
Yeah.
So the question that I have for you is what's also ahead? What's ahead in your future and your big ideas? I know you're talking about public speaking, but let's fast forward in 5 years, and where are we going to find you then?
I will have a reality TV show. I don't know if you guys know Queer Eye for Straight Guy, but it's this really great reinvention show that is so popular on Netflix. And I want to do that for us women. I mean, and if I get a co-pilot male who wants to do the show with me, then we can do the boys too. But I think that I can do a summit and bring women to the summit in the south of France or Los Angeles. But to be on a TV screen, the people sitting on their couch watching the show and seeing themselves in this person I'm helping is hugely powerful. So the reality is I want to get on TV with the show. It's called Second Act. I would like to have my own makeup line, my own fitness program, my own fitness clothing. I'd like to have my book that's inside of me, by the way, FYI, started it. And public speaking. You know what? Spread the word.
Absolutely.
Scares the living daylights out of me every bit. But
well,
you know what?
I'm confused, but I'm confused by your fear, because you seem so boisterous and eager to share. It's
Break it till you make it.
right, exactly. So, one of the cool things that we haven't talked about, and we don't have much time for that, but just as a thought for our next conversation on this platform. As a plastic and reconstructive surgeon, I've also recognized beauty and how that can help women in such a wonderful way. I'm also very mindful, because I keep things natural, I keep things organic, I keep things holistic, where beauty is not to be exaggerated either. I mean, exaggerated lips, exaggerated cheekbones isn't actually quite pretty. But the other part that I'm bringing to the table in the future is actually regenerative medicine, where we can extend our vitality and our longevity through all these scientific advancements that are coming out. So that's an exciting part as well.
Oh my God, I can't wait to talk about that. That's so exciting. That's what I would love to talk to you about as well. You're the master of that. I'd be so interested.
Yeah, we'll definitely have to talk more about that in the future. But for now, I really want to thank you for your energy, your vitality, but your insight and your story and the journey, and being that light for so many others, women and men included, small girls included, and small boys included too, because we don't have to be restricted by the cultural norms. Just because our culture says it's this way doesn't mean that it's right. And we can step out of that convention and become that best version of ourselves. But we just need the tools. And these are some of the things that you bring to the table in such a beautiful and energetic way. And I love this interview with you, and just getting your insight and your genius and your authentic voice.
Thank you. I loved it too.
Real people, real success, right? So as we wrap up, just share with us your last words.
Just take the steering wheel of your life. Step up onto the stage. Be your authentic self. There lies your purpose. Just be in charge of your happy. And you've got an open canvas. You can paint the picture of your second act. It's up to you. So fear will be in the back seat. You're never going to get rid of fear. She's always going to be there. But just take the steering wheel. Don't let anyone drive. You are the director and the lead and the producer of your own movie, and it's called your life. It's your time. It's your time is now. If not now, when? Ladies, never too late.
It's never,
second act.
It's never
too late.
It's your second act, based on what I would imagine is all the beautiful princess dreams, perhaps, that you had as a child, that you put away for the sake of others. But now, in your second act, just bring them, do what you want, and move forward into your radiant, magnificent goddess self, right?
Yes, yes, and yes, and yes, Bart. I'm so glad you get it. You're a star.
Thank you so much. Well, Heidi, thank you so much. And I am Dr. Bart Rademaker, and this is Prescription for Your Transformation. Real people, real conversations, and real success. And the tools to get us to tap into our authentic genius so that we get to live the life that we desire. And on top of all that, it's really about intelligence, the intelligence of our brain, our body, and our energy. Finding people, mavens like Heidi, who lead us the way, who've done the work so that we can be successful right out the gate. Thank you so much. And you and I will be talking soon again.
Yes. Thank you so much. I've loved it. Thank you so much.
Thanks for joining us on another episode of Dr. Rademaker's Prescription for Your Transformation. Continue the path towards discovering your own authentic genius by tuning in next time for more real conversations with real people.